Hello guys, I am Dr. Devendra Mishra, working as Assistant Professor in Chemistry at Bidla Institute of Applied Sciences, right? Also running this Tetrahedron Chemistry Classes channel, and here are the links available to approach me. Hello friends, welcome back to the Tetrahedron Chemistry Classes. So guys, in today's lecture I am continuing with that organometallic series, okay? So in today's class I am going to discuss the Wade-Mingo rule, which are rules which are applied for your high nuclear carbonyl clusters, okay? So before going into the details of the today's lecture, I want to just recapitulate what we have done in the last lecture. Okay, so if you remember, in my last lecture I have explained you how to calculate the metal bonds in the lower nuclear carbonyl clusters, generally LNCC. However, I have also solved the problems of other clusters also, other than your carbonyl clusters. Okay, so LNCC stands for the low nuclear carbonyl crystals, right? For this I have solved the problem in my last lecture, and generally your low nuclear carbonyl clusters are those clusters which have the number of the metals either equal to or the less than 4. So if you have say 2 metal, 3 metal and the 4 metal involved in the cluster, then you will call it as lower nuclear carbonyl cluster, and in that case you have actually used the extension of your 18 electron rule to decide or to calculate the metal bond which are present in the lower nuclear carbonyl clusters, and this was the formula if you can recall. Okay, so what I have not done in my last lecture, I have only explained that there is a possibility of the triangular, tetrahedral, butterfly, square pinner shapes, but I didn't tell you that how actually we can determine whether it would be butterfly structure, square pinner structure and tetrahedral. Okay, so as you can see here, if you have the two metals, right, if you have the two metals in your carbonyl cluster, so it will form a dimer. Okay, so if it is forming a dimer, then you should actually note one particular very important point actually, right? And the point is just like that. Okay, so this was my series actually, right? So this is for your information I'm giving you. So see, whenever you have this manganese, iron and cobalt, this family, right? When you have this not family, actually these metals like manganese, iron, cobalt and nickel, so generally they forms the dimers. So if they have the tendency to form the dimers, okay, this you should remember, okay, right? While this vanadium group as well as this chromium group, right, they don't form dimer. Okay, so no dimerization in that in these cases. Okay, so when you have the carbonyl crystals actually composed of the vanadium metal and its series and chromium metal and its series, then they will not form actually any dimer. This you should remember. While these manganese, iron and cobalt, they will form the dimer. This you should remember, and they form actually the lower nuclear carbonyl clusters. Okay, and then you can see I have skipped that titanium, zirconium, hafnium, scandium and terbium because there are very few examples of carbonyl clusters in that case. So this point actually you have to keep in mind. Okay, so you can see here, if you have the dimer, then obviously your total valence electron, which I can call it as cluster electrons, right? So their number would be 34. So if it is not very clear, so this you should remember, this is 34. Okay, and when you have the 34, then obviously your molecular orbitals would be 74. So how we can calculate the molecular orbitals? So for molecular orbitals, what you will do, you will divide that total valence electron divided by 2, and whatever the number you will have, right, that would be your molecular orbitals. Okay, right? And in the when this happens actually 34 valence electrons and 7 molecular orbitals, then obviously the dimerization would take place. And when this happens, you have the 48 electrons. Again, if you divide that 42 by 2, you will get the 24. So this combination, 24 molecular orbitals and 48 electrons, this will form a triangular shape. So your carbonyl crystal would be just like that. Okay, and if you have you can see the total valence electrons 60 and 30 BMOs. If you divide that 60 by 2, that will give you the 30. So this combination will give you the tetrahedral structure, and this is, say, you can see this 62, right? If you have the 62 and 31 combination, and you have four metals, right? Then you have the butterfly shape, not tetrahedral, but the butterfly shape. Okay, and when this combination changes, if you have the total valence electron 64, and you have the, if you divide this by 2, then you will get the 32, right? If when you will get a 32, then this combination with the four metal, it will give you the square planar structure. So it is up to you actually. If you have given 2 or 3 examples and they ask whether it is butterfly structure, the tetrahedral structure, or the square planar structure, so what you will do, you will actually keep in mind these points actually, because these combinations are possible for this one. So this part actually I have skipped in my last lecture, okay, due to the length of that particular lecture. So now I hope this is clear to you. So lower nuclear carbonyl, see whatever I have explained you in my last lecture, what you can do, in those carbonyl clusters you can apply these rules and decide whether they are a square planar, butterfly, or the triangular. So this was the picture of your this was my fast last lecture. Okay guys, तो हिंदी वाले भी इसको समझ ले अच्छी तरीके से कि मैंने लास्ट लेक्चर में आपको मेटल मेटल बॉन्ड निकालना बताया है। और ये लोअर न्यूक्लियर कार्बोनिल क्लस्टर्स वो होते हैं जिनमें कि एन का वैल्यू, एन जो नंबर ऑफ मेटल्स हैं, या तो अभी 4 हो या 4 से कम हो, तो उनको लोअर न्यूक्लियर कार्बोनिल क्रिस्टल्स बोलते हैं। और उन केसेस में मैंने आपको मेटल मेटल बॉन्ड्स निकालना तो बताया था, लेकिन इसके अलावा इसमें एक चीज और भी होती है। आप देखिए कि अगर 4 मेटल्स प्रेजेंट हैं, राइट, तो 4 मेटल प्रेजेंट होने के साथ साथ आप देखते हैं 3 पॉसिबिलिटी होती है स्ट्रक्चर्स की, टेट्राहेड्रल, बटरफ्लाई और स्क्वायर प्लेनर। तो आपको कैसे पता चलेगा कि टेट्राहेड्रल है, बटरफ्लाई है या स्क्वायर प्लेनर है? तो इसके लिए आप क्या करेंगे, ये कॉम्बिनेशन देखिए आप ना, जैसे ये 60 इलेक्ट्रॉन है, तो इसको अगर आप 2 से डिवाइड करेंगे तो 30 मॉलिक्यूलर ऑर्बिटल्स आएंगे। तो 60 टोटल वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, 30 मॉलिक्यूलर ऑर्बिटल्स विद 4 मेटल, दिस विल गिव यू द टेट्राहेड्रल स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द कार्बोनिल क्लस्टर। ठीक है, इससे कार्बोनिल क्लस्टर बनेगा। अगर 62 इलेक्ट्रॉन है, इसको डिवाइडेड बाई 2 अगर आप करेंगे तो 31 मॉलिक्यूलर ऑर्बिटल्स आएंगे। तो 62, 31 और 4 का कॉम्बिनेशन बटरफ्लाई शेप देगा आपको। ओके, और 64, 32 और 4 का ये आपको देगा स्क्वायर प्लेनर स्ट्रक्चर। ठीक, इतना आप ध्यान में रखेंगे। और अब हम चलते हैं अपने अगले आज के लेक्चर की तरफ को, राइट। और वो लेक्चर आपका है हाई न्यूक्लियर कार्बोनिल क्लस्टर्स पे। ओके, और हाई न्यूक्लियर कार्बोनिल क्रिस्टल्स पे ये वाला रूल जो आपने मेटल मेटल बॉन्ड्स के लिए निकाला है, ये काम नहीं करते हैं। वहां पे हम दूसरे तरीके से कैलकुलेट करते हैं। तो हाउ वी विल कैलकुलेट इन दैट केस, यू कैन सी हियर। सो गाइस, इन टुडेस केस आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस दिस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट which is higher nuclear carbonyl clusters. Okay, so higher nuclear carbonyl crystal means when the number of the metals present in the particular crystal is either equal to or greater than 5. So if you have the metal greater than or equal to 5, then they are known as the higher nuclear carbonyl clusters. Okay guys, then there is a formula to calculate actually the polyhedral electron pairs. Okay, so I am calling it as polyhedral electron pairs actually, right? So in the text actually you will not find this particular term. You can find actually PES, polyhedral skeleton electron, PSE. You will find instead of this PEP, you will find PSE, polyhedral skeleton electron. But somehow I find this PEP little better actually, polyhedral electron pairs. Okay, so when you want to calculate this polyhedral electron pair, the formula would be TEC. TEC means total electron count. Okay, so whatever the metal cluster will be given to you, you will calculate all the electrons present in it. Okay, and when this happens, then you will subtract that value with actually 12 into n, right? And see, n is the number of metals, okay, and 12 is a constant divided by 2. So this formula will give you the polyhedral electron pairs or polyhedral skeleton electron pairs. Okay, so PEP, polyhedral electron pairs, TEC, total electron count, and n, number of the atoms. Now again, the very important thing you should note down, whenever you have the HNCC, higher nuclear carbonyl clusters, whenever you have the metals greater than or equal to 5 in numbers, then there may be a chance some of the say your main group elements or main group atoms may present in those clusters in the interstitial sites or interstitial voids actually, right? So these metals which are present in the interstitial sides or interstitial void in the higher nuclear carbonyl clusters, these are called encapsulated atom. Okay, so here I have written atoms at the interstitial sites or the interstitial voids, and we will call these atoms as the encapsulated atoms. Okay, so in higher nuclear, see, I have already told you, in higher nuclear carbonyl clusters there may be a chance that the atoms like the hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, etc., these are the main group atoms actually, they may be present in the interstitial sites or the interstitial voids. Okay, and see, these actually and encapsulated atoms, right? These actually, they are always present as the monoatomic species. What is the meaning of the monoatomic species? So they will present as single hydrogen, single carbon, single nitrogen, and single phosphorus. Okay, and always they will contribute actually the electron equal to their valence electron. Okay, to the electron total electron count. So if you are calculating the total electron count, so if you are not actually getting the things right in that case, actually I'll explain all these things, see, with the help of the examples in the later part of my lecture. First of all, I am giving you the actually the gist of the things actually which we'll today complete. Okay guys, so these will present as the monoatomic species, and they will contribute the electrons to the total electron count equal to their actually valence electron. Okay, so this is the example you can see here. This is rhodium, and 6 metals are present. You see N is greater than 6. So greater than or equal to, this is 6 actually, this is greater than 5. Okay, so this is actually the higher nuclear carbonyl crystal, and you see 22 carbonyls are present here, and 1 phosphorus is present. Okay, so when you will count the total electrons of it, so you will count the electron of the rhodium, and those electrons you will multiply it by this with the 6. Okay, plus 22 into 2, because one carbonyl will contribute 2 electron, right? 44. And then your phosphorus actually, right, it is having the atomic number of 15, so it will contribute 5 electron. So you will add that 5 electron extra to this one. Okay, and this charge is also there. Okay, so this is very important to note, that you will find the examples based on this. Okay guys, then after that you can see here I have written the vertex. See, what is the utility of this this actually polyhedral electron pairs? So they will actually give you the structure of the cluster, what kind of the structure it is having. Whether it is tetrahedral kind of structure, it will be tetrahedral, it would be capped, it would be monocapped, it could be trigonal, bipyramidal. What kind of structure it will have? It will depend upon the total number of the vertex present in the total number of the vertex present. So how we can determine the vertex present in the polyhedral? So whatever you will have the polyhedral electron count, okay, that is PEC, or PEP, whatever you can write. Okay, so when polyhedral electron pairs, right, so when you subtract actually this, I can write this as PEP. Okay, so when you subtract that value, when you subtract 1 from that value actually, okay, then if you have the 4 vertex, so 4 vertex means you are having tetrahedral structure. If you are having 5 vertex, then you will have the trigonal bipyramidal structure. For 6 vertex you will have the octahedral, and for 7 actually you will have the pentagonal bipyramidal. PBP stands for the pentagonal bipyramidal. So this is the utility of the vertex, and later on you will see how we can calculate all these things. Okay, then after that there would be a very important rule which is known as the capping rules. Okay, so whatever the structure you will have, they will have the extra cap over there. So when you will have this extra cap actually, so when you are N, right, when N is actually the number of metals present, right, when N is greater than or equal to polyhedral electron pairs, not PEC, you can write the PEP. Okay, so when N is greater than or equal to PEP, polyhedral electron pairs, okay, then what will happen? One or more metals may present as the cap on the basic polyhedral. So what is the meaning of that basic polyhedral? Say if you have your tetrahedral structure, so that tetrahedral structure would have extra cap if actually your metals are more than in the number of your polyhedral electron pairs. You should remember that particular point. Okay, and when you have actually the additional cap or capping atom, so it will not change the polyhedral electron pairs or polyhedral electron count. Okay, these pairs, it will not change the PEP. Okay, but it will change the total electron count by the 12 unit. You should remember that particular point. So this is the gist actually which we will cover today, right guys? सो हिंदी वाले भी इसको समझ लें अच्छी तरीके से। हेट्रोन्यूक्लियर कार्बोनिल क्लस्टर्स जो हैं वो सॉरी नॉट हेट्रो, हायर न्यूक्लियर कार्बोनिल क्लस्टर्स वो हैं आपके जिनमें मेटल्स आपकी 5 या उससे ज़्यादा नंबर में होंगी। और इसके लिए आपका जो फॉर्मूला हम यूज़ करते हैं कैलकुलेट करने के लिए, पॉलीहेड्रल इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर में इसको बोल रहा हूँ, किताबों में कुछ और भी लिखा हुआ दिख सकता है, उसके लिए ये फॉर्मूला यहाँ पे यूज़ हो रहा है। ठीक है, टोटल इलेक्ट्रॉन जो काउंट होगी उसमें से हम सब्सट्रैक्ट कर देंगे आपकी ये वैल्यू, जहाँ पे n नंबर ऑफ मेटल्स हैं 2, ये फॉर्मूला आपको मिल जाएगा डिवाइडेड बाई 2। और हायर न्यूक्लियर कार्बोनिल क्रिस्टल्स में ऐसा देखा गया है कि इंटरस्टिशियल साइट्स पे कुछ एटम्स मेन ग्रुप एलिमेंट्स के प्रेजेंट, मेन ग्रुप के प्रेजेंट रहते हैं, और वो आपके इंटरस्टिशियल वॉइड्स पे रहते हैं, तो इसलिए इनको इनकैप्सुलेटेड एटम्स भी बोलते हैं। ठीक है, यह आपको पता रहना चाहिए। और इनकैप्सुलेटेड एटम अगर कभी भी प्रेजेंट होगा तो वो हमेशा मोनो एटॉमिक स्पीशीज की तरह रहेगा, जैसे सिंगल एच, सिंगल सी, सिंगल एन, सिंगल पी एटसेट्रा, इस तरीके से रहेगा। ठीक है भाई। और ये कितने, जितनी इनकी वैलेंसी होती है उतने ही इलेक्ट्रॉन ये कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा टोटल इलेक्ट्रॉन काउंट में। अभी हम इसको एग्जांपल से भी देखने वाले हैं। ठीक है, इसके बाद यहां तक की तो बात कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। फिर आप देखेंगे कि स्ट्रक्चर कौन सा होने वाला है आपका। तो स्ट्रक्चर डिसाइड करने के लिए आप क्या करते हैं, टोटल नंबर ऑफ वर्टेक्स आप कैलकुलेट करेंगे। तो वर्टेक्स कैलकुलेट करने के लिए जो पॉलीहेड्रल इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर्स हैं उसमें से इनमें से आप 1 को माइनस करते हैं। तो जितनी भी वैल्यू आएगी उसमें से 1 को माइनस करने पे अगर 4 आएगा तो टेट्राहेड्रल मिलेगा, 5 आएगा तो ट्राइगोनल बाइपिरामिडल मिलेगा, 6 आएगा तो ऑक्टाहेड्रल, 7 के लिए आपकी पेंटागोनल बाइपिरामिडल मिलेगी। ओके, इसके बाद एक कैपिंग रूल होता है। जब आप पॉलीहेड्रल इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर काउंट करते हैं और टोटल नंबर ऑफ मेटल्स देखते हैं, राइट, तो अगर मेटल्स आपकी बराबर है पॉलीहेड्रल इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर के या उससे ज्यादा है, तब आपकी जो एक्स्ट्रा मेटल होती है वो आपके नॉर्मल पॉलीहेड्रा पे एक कैप की तरह, एक टोपी की तरह नजर आती है। ठीक है, तो इसको कैपिंग रूल कहा जाता है, लेकिन इसके लिए जरूरी है कि ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाइड हो। ठीक है, और अगर आप एक एक्स्ट्रा कैपिंग एटम दे देते हैं किसी पॉलीहेड्रल, आपके जो रेगुलर पॉलीहेड्रा है, तो उससे आपका पॉलीहेड्रल इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर पे कोई चेंज नहीं होता, लेकिन टोटल इलेक्ट्रॉन काउंट जरूर 12 यूनिट से आपकी बढ़ जाती है, ये इंक्रीज हो जाती है, इतना आप याद रखेंगे। ओके, then the important thing, right, guys, the this table is particularly important for you. Okay, so this is a very short table which I have taken from your organometallic chemistry by BD Gupta and Ilyas. Okay, from there I have copied that particular one. So you should remember actually this table. So in that case, what you can do here, what I have done here, so I have given some of the clusters here. These are the clusters, and then the total electron pairs, or sorry, not pairs actually, total electron counts. These are the total electron count. If you count the electrons of all these, it will come out 86. For this it will come out 74, and so on. Okay, and after that you will see, if you calculate the PEP, polyhedral electron pairs, right, how you will calculate, by using that particular formula. Okay, so for this you will have these numbers 777, 666. Okay guys, and then you will have the metals present in that case. You are observing that 6 metals are present, in that case 5 metals are present, in that case 4 metals are present. Okay, and sometimes you can see, you can count this carbon as such. Okay, this will also present as species, right? So 5 it is giving. So here you can see 5 osmium are there and 5 osmium again are there. These two complexes are actually looking alike, but they are little bit different because one hydrogen is here and here it is H2 actually. Okay, so this will make the difference. So here it is. Now you can observe that this is the monoatomic hydrogen. So this is actually the encapsulated atom. This will present in the interstitial sites, but this hydrogen H2 is not actually your encapsulated. Why? Because it is diatomic, and I already told you, for encapsulated atom it is necessary that your metal that your element should be in the monatomic stage. Okay, so now here lies the beauty of that polyhedral electron counts and the number of the vertex. See, if you have the metal present 5 and metal present 5, these two things are, see, in these three cases are there. Okay, so for 5 metals you may predict actually trigonal bipyramidal kind of the geometry, but you can see it is not like, actually, see, this is trigonal bipyramidal, this is trigonal bipyramidal, this is trigonal bipyramidal. Okay, so this is closo, right? So however, this is not actually giving the very clear picture. I'll explain you later on. Okay, so when you'll have this combination, right, when you have this 7, polyhedral electron pairs and 6 metals, okay, then it would be octahedral. Okay guys, and your closo, the structure would be closo. How we will see how we can decide whether it will the closo, nido or arachno later on. See, just I'm going to explain this one also. And if you have this combination, 5 metals are there along with this carbon, so again you see the octahedral geometry is predicted, right? But it is actually the square pyramidal with nido kind of the structure. Okay, similarly you can see this combination 6247, this will give you the arachno. Arachno is again, you can see the it is giving the octahedral kind of geometry, because you can see this is the parent geometry, but actual structure would be the butterfly like, and so on. Okay, this you should remember. Okay guys, so now again you can see here these are the Wade-Mingo rule, and which are very important to decide whether your compound would be closo, nido or arachno. So before going into the details of the Wade-Mingo rule, you should actually know what is the meaning of this one. See, the closo, whenever it is written closo means it's a cage-like structure. These are the Greek word actually. Closo means cage-like structure, okay, and when you have the nido means your nest-like of structure. So how actually the nest look like? So you can just draw the structure in that manner, say just in that manner, okay, and right. So this is just type of just a nest type of the structure. So this is nido actually, right? So when you have the arachno kind of the structure, so arachno is your just like your butterfly actually, or you see the spider like of thing, right? See, it will have the spider, right? Spider like of thing, okay. So arachno means spider, and hypo means net, and clado means your branch. So these are the Greek term which you should actually know, because there may be the possibility that they actually in the examination you may have said that you have given this particular cluster and they have drawn the different structures and you have to identify the correct structure. So for this you have to know actually what is the meaning of the closo, nido, arachno. Okay, now I'm coming back to the Wade-Mingo rules. Okay, so you can see here first of all how we can actually memorize these things. So memorization of these things are very important, which you should know. So for you, what I'm giving you the trick for this one. So first of all you write actually 1, see -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then in -1 is there, then write n here, then n here. So if you write see if 0 was there, then it would be n plus 0. This will not make any actually difference or any sense. So this is n minus 1, this is n. Now it's very simple, n plus 1, n plus 2, n plus 3, n plus 4 and n plus 5. Okay, and in that case then you will remember this particular term, SHCNAHC. So I have devised a mimic for this one, right? Mnemonic for this one, not mimic actually, mnemonic for this one. So how we can remember this one? So this is just like that. Sanam nahi, sorry, sanam ho chaman nahi. Okay, ab haso chaman. So you can remember this actually mnemonic. Sanam ho chaman nahi, ab haso chaman. So sanam, that is S, ho, that is H, chaman, that is C, nahi, that is N, ab means A, and haso means H, and chaman means fir again C. So this actually S stands for the supercloso, and H stands for the hypercloso, C stands for the closo, N stands for the nido, and A stands for the arachno, and H stands for the hypo, and C stands for the clado. So if you have remember that mnemonic, sanam ho chaman nahi, ab haso chaman, so you can write actually SHCNAHC, and you know the supercloso, hypercloso, right? Closo, nido, arachno, hypo, and clado. So these things you should remember. Okay, so this is how we will apply the Wade-Mingo rule. Okay, then again you can see here this is table. So this is the capping rule actually, right? So if you have total valence electron, that means the cluster electrons equals to 72, and if you divide this by 2 like we have done in just in the beginning of the lecture when I was doing the revision of my last class, so 72 by 2, that will give you the 36. Okay, when you have this combination 72 total valence electron and 5 metals, right, then you will have the trigonal bipyramidal geometry. You should remember that point. Okay, but when you have the total valence electron 74, okay, and 5 metals are present, then you will have the square pyramidal geometry. Okay, and when you have say 84 total valence electrons and your 6 metals, then you have tetrahedral and this would be bicapped. So tetrahedral bicapped, I will draw that particular tetrahedral bicapped structure when the question related for this will solve. Okay, and if you have this combination, you say you have the 86 electron and 6 metal, right? So 86 and 6 will give you the octahedral, but 84 and 6 will give you the bicapped structure. So guys, this is very important because in your examination you may have the option just like that. In just I have written here clozo trigonal bipyramidal arachno butterfly. Okay, so if this type of the combination is given in the question, then you should know actually what is going on here. Okay, so because the metals are same, you can see the metals are same 5 and 5, but geometry is trigonal bipyramidal and square pyramidal. Different geometries are there. For 6 you can see 6 6 6 6 4 6 geometries, 6 numbers are there, that means metals are there, but you have the different geometries: tetrahedral bicapped, octahedral, capped square pyramidal, okay, trigonal prism. Okay, then if you have the 7 1 numbers, that means if you have the 7 metals present in it, then you can write your octahedral capped. That means regular octahedron, this will have the cap on it. So if you don't understand how you will add the cap, all these things, so don't worry, I am going to solve the question based on this. Okay guys, so this actually slide or this particular paper, this page is very important for you. So if you want, you can take the snapshot of this one. Okay, and all these rules we will apply in solving the problem. So this is the theory part actually. Okay, तो हिंदी वालों को लिए भी आप जल्दी से मैं इसको समराइज कर देता हूँ. तो जो भी आपने पढ़ा इससे पहले देखिए एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पे हम देखते हैं. तो इसमें आप देखें कि कॉम्बिनेशंस आपको कैसे मिलते हैं. तो अगर ऊपर वाला पार्ट अगर आप छोड़ भी देते हैं, ओके, तो सीधे नीचे हम वेड-मिंगो रूल में आते हैं. तो वेड-मिंगो रूल में आप याद करने का तरीका मैंने अभी आपको बता दिया है कि कैसे याद करते हैं. तो आप क्या लिखें, पहले -1 0 1 2 3 4 5 तक लिख लें और बाद में n इसमें डालते चलें. ओके, तो n-1 हो जाएगा, n+0 n+1 ये सब आ जाएगा. उसके बाद आप ये निमोनिक याद रखें, सनम नहीं, सनम हो चमन नहीं, अब हंसो चमन. तो सनम से एस ले लीजिए, फिर इससे आपका हो से एच ले लीजिए, चमन से फिर सी ले लीजिए, नहीं से एन ले लीजिए, अब से ए ले लीजिए, हंसो से फिर एच ले लीजिए और चमन से फिर सी ले लीजिए. तो इनका मतलब क्या है, एस स्टैंड फॉर सुपर क्लोजो, एच हाइपर क्लोजो, सी क्लोजो, एन निडो, ए एरेक्नो, एच हाइपो और सी क्लेडो. ये आप याद रखेंगे. ठीक, तो इनका मतलब क्या है, देखिए क्लोजो का मतलब होता है केज, ये ग्रीक वर्ड है, पिंजरे की तरह इसको यूज करते हैं. और निडो का मतलब होता है कि एक नेस्ट. ठीक है, जैसे एक आपका घोंसला जैसा आप बनाते हैं ना, जैसे मान लीजिए बर्ड पालने का किसी को शौक है, होना नहीं चाहिए हालांकि गलत बात है. तो अगर कोई बर्ड वगैरह पालता है तो वो एक नेस्ट जैसा बनाता है, तो वो नेस्ट ऐसा दिखता है. ठीक है, लटकाए रखता है उसको. एरेक्नो का मतलब है स्पाइडर की तरह दिखेगा. हाइपो का मतलब है एक जाल की तरह, नेट की तरह दिखेगा. क्लेडो का मतलब है सिंपल है ब्रांच जैसी निकलेंगी और कुछ नहीं होगा. ठीक है, इतना याद रखेंगे. अब देखिए इसके बाद क्या होगा, कॉम्बिनेशंस देखिए आप. टोटल वर्टेक्स आप पीछे फॉर्मूले से निकाल लेंगे. वर्टेक्स निकालने के बाद वेड-मिंगो रूल से आप ये सब डिटरमाइन कर लेंगे क्या है. अब चाहिए आपको ज्योमेट्री. तो ज्योमेट्री के लिए कॉम्बिनेशंस ये टेबल आपको याद करनी ही पड़ेगी. अगर आप इसको याद नहीं करेंगे तो फिर आपसे वो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं होंगी. आप इतना ध्यान रखिएगा, क्योंकि एग्जामिनेशन में हमेशा ऐसा क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा कि आपको ये दे दिया और आप पूछा आपसे क्लोजो है, निडो है और एरेक्नो है, बताइए. इतना आसान नहीं आएगा. तो वो आपसे कहेंगे कि क्लोजो निडो के साथ साथ इसकी ज्योमेट्री बताइए. मान लीजिए उसने ये दे दिया और क्लोजो के साथ उसने स्क्वायर पिरामिडल लिख दिया, तब क्लोजो तो आपका आएगा ही, लेकिन स्क्वायर पिरामिडल आपको पता ही नहीं होगा. तो उसके लिए आपको ये टेबल पता होनी चाहिए. ठीक है, तो इसकी इंपॉर्टेंस में सिर्फ इस नंबर से यहाँ पे पहले दो से एक्सप्लेन कर देता हूँ. देखिए अगर आपके 72 टोटल वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन है, ठीक है, और 5 मेटल प्रेजेंट है. ठीक है, 72 को 2 से डिवाइड करेंगे तो 36 आ जाएगा, ये इसके मॉलिक्यूलर ऑर्बिटल्स है. ओके, तो 72 टोटल वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन और 5 अगर आपके मेटल हैं, तब ट्राइगोनल बाइपिरामिडल ज्योमेट्री होती है. लेकिन अगर यही टोटल इलेक्ट्रॉन 74 हो जाते हैं और मेटल 5 ही हैं, तब ये ट्राइगोनल बाइपिरामिडल ना होके क्या हो जाएगा, ये स्क्वायर पिरामिडल होगा. हो सकता है इन दोनों की दोनों केसेस में आपको क्लोजो ही मिले या निडो ही मिले, लेकिन ज्योमेट्री डिफरेंट हो जाएंगी। ऐसे ही आपका 6 के लिए भी आप देख सकते हैं, बाइकैप्ड टेट्राहेड्रल, ऑक्टाहेड्रल, कैप्ड स्क्वायर पिरामिडल, ट्राइगोनल प्रिज्म 6 के लिए आपका। ठीक है, तो ये तो आसान है पता करना कि क्लोजो, निडो, एरेक्नो क्या है इस रूल से। ओके, लेकिन फिर ये कैप्ड स्क्वायर पिरामिडल है, ट्राइगोनल प्रिज्म है या बाइकैप्ड है, उसके लिए ये इलेक्ट्रॉन कॉम्बिनेशंस आपको जरूर पता होनी चाहिए ना। अगर ये नहीं पता होंगे तो फिर नहीं हो पाएगा, तो ये आपको याद करना ही पड़ेगा। ओके, दिस इज द थ्योरी पार्ट एक्चुअली। नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम बेस्ड ऑन दिस। ओके गाइस, ओके, so this is my first problem. Okay, I have given this particular say cluster, this is OS5CO5C. ओके, तो यहां से आप याद रखेंगे, देखिए इस तरीके से दिया हुआ है मेटल। इसमें सी, पहले मैं हिंदी वालों को कंप्लीट कर रहा हूँ, इंग्लिश वाले चिंता न करें, इसके बाद में इस प्रॉब्लम करने के बाद इंग्लिश में भी उसको एक्सप्लेन करूंगा। ओके, तो यहां से आप देखें ये 5 मेटल है, तो इसमें जो n का वैल्यू है आप देख रहे हैं, ये ग्रेटर देन क्या है, ये ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू 5 वाले कॉम्बिनेशन में आ रहा, 5 के बराबर है। तो ये क्या है, हायर न्यूक्लियर कार्बोनिल क्लस्टर, HNCC आप इसको बोल सकते हैं। अब इसमें आपने सॉल्व करना है, तो सबसे पहला काम है आप इसमें कैलकुलेट करें पॉलीहेड्रल इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर्स। सो पॉलीहेड्रल इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर्स का मतलब क्या है, आप पीईपी करें, और किताबों में इसको लिखा होगा पॉलीहेड्रल पॉलीस्केलेटन इलेक्ट्रॉन्स। ओके, तो पीईपी। तो अगर आपने ये कैलकुलेट करना है तो इसके लिए फॉर्मूला है TeC -12 × n। ये पहले वाले से दूसरा फॉर्मूला है, ठीक है भाई, जो हमने तीसरे लेक्चर में सॉल्व किया। ओके, दिस शुड बी डिवाइडेड बाई 2। नाउ आप कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए टोटल इलेक्ट्रॉन। ऑस्मियम आयरन का पार्टनर है, ठीक है, आयरन 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन कंट्रीब्यूट करता है, ये मैं बार बार बता चुका हूं, और ऑस्मियम उसी ग्रुप में आता है। तो एक ऑस्मियम 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन, तो 5 ऑस्मियम 8 पंजे 40, ठीक है। अच्छा, कार्बोनिल, एक कार्बोनिल 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन प्रोवाइड करता है, क्लियर है। और आप देखें कितने कार्बोनिल है, 15, तो आप इसको 15 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दीजिए, तो ये एक वैल्यू आ गई आपकी, ठीक है। अब इसके साथ आप देखिए कार्बन भी है, और ये कार्बन आपका देखिए अकेला मोनो एटॉमिक है, तो ये आपका हो सकता है कि इनकैप्सुलेटेड है। और अगर ये इनकैप्सुलेटेड है तो ये कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन प्रोवाइड करेगा, ये प्रोवाइड करेगा अपने वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन के बराबर। तो इसके वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन कितने होते हैं, 4। ओके, दिस शुड बी -12। एन क्या है, नंबर ऑफ मेटल्स, तो मेटल कितनी है, 5, तो इसको आप 5 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दीजिए, ठीक है भाई, इसको 2 से डिवाइड कर दीजिए। सो अब मैं तेजी से सॉल्व कर रहा हूं, अगर आप इस फैक्टर को पूरा सॉल्व करेंगे तो आपको मिलेगा 14/2 एंड दैट विल गिव यू 7। तो कितना आ गया, 7 आ गया यहाँ पर, ठीक है। अब अगर ये 7 आ गया है तो आप सबसे पहले इसमें पता करें कि ये क्लोजो, निडो, एरेक्नो क्या है, ठीक है। मेटल कितनी है, 5, ठीक है। यहां वैल्यू कितनी है, 7, तो ये 5 + 2 = 7 आ रहा है। 5 क्या है, नंबर ऑफ मेटल्स, दैट इज n का वैल्यू है, तो ये क्या आ रहा है, n+2। तो ये रूल किसको फॉलो कर रहा है, n+2 को। और जब ये n+2 को फॉलो करेगा तो ये स्ट्रक्चर कैसा होगा, ये होगा निडो। ये स्ट्रक्चर कैसा होगा, निडो, आप देख सकते हैं। n+2 में कैसा आया, क्योंकि नंबर ऑफ मेटल इस क्लस्टर में 5 दे रखी है, इसमें 2 ऐड करेंगे तो 7 आएगा, तो ये हो गया आपका निडो, ठीक है। इतनी बात तो ठीक है। अब आप क्या कर सकते हैं, यहां पे से वर्टिसेस भी तो काउंट कर सकते हैं, नंबर ऑफ वर्टिसेस कितनी है, और नंबर ऑफ वर्टेक्स जो भी है, वर्टेक्स और वर्टेक्स एक्स जो भी लिखें आप, ठीक है। तो ये हो जाएगा पॉलीहेड्रल इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर -1। तो पॉलीहेड्रल इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर कितने हैं, 7, एक माइनस कर दीजिए तो 6। अब कॉम्बिनेशन देखिए, टोटल जो इलेक्ट्रॉन काउंट थी ये वाली, ये कितनी थी, 8 5 = 40, ठीक है, 15 दूनी 30, ये थी 74। तो इलेक्ट्रॉन काउंट तो टोटल थी 74, ठीक है। और 74 के बाद जो वर्टेक्स थी, ये तो थी आपकी TeC, ओके। और यहां पे जो वर्टेक्स थी वो कितनी थी, 6। तो 74 इलेक्ट्रॉन और 6 वर्टेक्स। यहां देखें 74 इलेक्ट्रॉन, लेकिन देखिए वर्टेक्स 6 का कहीं पे भी कोई कॉम्बिनेशन नहीं मिल रहा। तो इसमें आपको कभी भी ये TBP, स्क्वायर पिरामिडल और ये इस तरीके की चीजें नहीं पूछेगा, लेकिन आपको नेचुरली पता होगा कि जब 5 आपका नंबर आता है तो या तो स्क्वायर पिरामिडल होना चाहिए और या आपका ट्राइगोनल बाई पिरामिडल होना चाहिए। तो इलेक्ट्रॉन तो 74 आ रहे हैं, 72 तो आ नहीं रहे, तब आप इसको स्क्वायर पिरामिडल लिखेंगे। तो एक्चुअली ये निडो स्क्वायर पिरामिडल है। कैसा है? ये आपका निडो है और स्क्वायर पिरामिडल है। तो इस तरीके से आपको सॉल्व करेंगे, ठीक है। नाउ द इंग्लिश वर्जन, राइट गाइज, यू कैन सी हियर you are having this particular cluster, and it is having the 5 osmium atom present in it. Okay, that means it is a higher nuclear carbonyl cluster because n is greater than 5. Then you will calculate the PEP, polyhedral electron pairs. Actually formula is just like that. And you know the your osmium contributes 8 electrons, so if you multiply that 8 with the 5, because 5 metals are present, this will give you the 40, and one carbonyl gives you 2 electrons, so 15 into 2, that is 30. Okay, and then your carbon is actually the monoatomic. In that case, it may be present in the interstitial side, it's an encapsulated atom. Okay, so when it is encapsulated atom, it will contribute electron equal to its valency. Okay, so carbon is having the valency of 4, so you can write 4 here. Okay, and this will give you the 74 actually, right? And minus, see 12 is there in the formula, 5 number of metals, 12 into 5 divided by 2. If you solve this value, then you will have the 7 by 2, that will give you the 7. Okay, so when you have the 7, then you can apply the n plus 1 2, n plus 2 rule, sorry, right? So why n plus 2? N, see number of metals 5, plus 2 is already there, so it is following 5 plus 2, that means n plus 2. So when it follows the n plus 2, so according to the Wade-Mingus rule, it should be nido. So you can see here it is giving n plus 2, so it is nido. Okay, and then you see here, if you count the total electrons, so this sum actually is 74. So 74 electron, so if you see here 74 electron, so you are finding the 74 electrons here. However, the metals are also 5, you can see here 5 metals are there. Okay, then you will have this combination 74 and 5, that means the square pyramidal. So this species along with the nido kind of structure will actually have the geometry of your square pyramidal, nido and square pyramidal. So this is how you can solve the example. So guys, from this problem onwards, for the Hindi people, right, or Hindi actually students who actually knows Hindi only pretty much and less English. So this problem actually I have solved for you. Now I am going to solve all the problems in one language only. Okay, and it is actually good if you understand all the things in the proper English language, because you have to read and write in English itself in your examination also. So guys, this is the complex which you have given here, and you have to determine its structure, what kind of structure it is having. It is clozo, nido, arachno, what kind of structure you can, right? So first of all, what you will do for this one, actually 6 electrons are there, it is higher nuclear carbonyl cluster HNCC. So I can show you in that manner. This is HNCC. Okay guys, and after that, this HNCCC, you can write the polyhedral electron pairs. This will give you TEC, total electron count, minus 12 into n divided by 2. If you solve this, see rhodium. Rhodium is the partner of the cobalt, and cobalt contributes 9 electrons. You should remember that particular point. Okay, so 9 electron multiplied by 6, because 6 rhodium are present, 1 rhodium gives 9 electron, plus 1 carbonyl actually gives 2 electrons, and they are present at 16 times. Okay, this is one factor, minus this 12, n is 6 number of metal present in it, and this is divided by 2. Okay, so if you solve that problem, 9 6 is 54 and 16 2 is 32, 54 and 32, that will give you the 86. 12 into 6, 72 divided by 2, and that will give you the 14 by 2 again. It is giving you the 14 by 2, and say it is 7. So it is giving you the 7. Okay, these are the polyhedral electron pairs. Polyhedral electron pairs. Now you have to decide what is the utility of calculating the polyhedral electron pairs. It will give you the actually the exact kind of the structure it is having, nido, clozo and arachno. So again it is following, see, n plus 1 rule, n plus 1. So I'm writing 7 here, n plus 1 7. N is the number of metals. How many metals are present? 6. So this is 6 plus 1 7. That means that particular complex is following n plus 1 rule. N plus 1 rule, and you know, for n plus 1, it is what kind of a structure it is having, right? It is having clozo kind of a structure, I suppose. Yes, you can see it is following n plus 1. Okay, and for n plus 1 it is Closio. So this actually complex is Closio complex. I think there is no problem in that. Then again you can see the total number of the electrons, right? So electrons are 86. So TEC, they are 86 in number. Metals, that means N, it is 6. So you will check the list 86 and 6, combination of 86 and 6. So if you go here, this is 86, okay, and this is 6. 6 metals are present. So this combination will give you the octahedral geometry. So that complex is the octahedral. Along with the Closio kind of the structure, it will have the octahedral geometry. This is very, very important to note that. Okay guys, very important to note that. So, and see, if you want to calculate the vertex on it, right, or vertices. So how you can calculate the vertices? Vertices is PEP minus 1. So PEP 7 minus 1 equal to 6. That means 6 vertices are present. Obviously it would be the octahedral kind of the thing. Okay, so if you want to draw the structure of that particular complex, so you can do in that manner. Say for example, okay, I'm giving you in that manner. Okay, okay guys, there is no problem in that. And see, my one rhodium is here and my another rhodium is way back downward. Okay, and this RH here, this RH here, this RH here, this RH here. Okay, so all the 6 your rhodium are present on the 6 vertices. So if you connect them all just like that, so it will give you the octahedral geometry. Okay guys, now if you want to connect say carbonyls to it, so how you can see, this is little tricky. This is the solved example given everywhere in the textbook. It is very easy to actually draw that particular structure, but it is not always be the case actually when you have the different kind of the complexes. So to solve this particular thing, what you will do, so all the rhodium actually you give all these 2 carbonyls, CO and CO, 2 for this one, CO and CO, 2 for this one, okay, and 2 carbonyls for this, 2 carbonyls for this, and 2 carbonyls for this. Okay guys, so total 12 carbonyls you have consumed. Now you are left with the 4. So that these 4 carbonyls are actually pretty crucial. So you can write say 1 carbonyl here, CO, and this actually CO will connect actually 3 rhodium atom. Okay, so this would be quite complicated to draw here. So I'm drawing in that manner, say 1 rhodium here, another rhodium here, another rhodium here. So this carbonyl is actually what? It is mu3 CO. It is because this carbonyl is connecting 3 rhodium, rhodium number 1, rhodium number 2, and rhodium number 3. It's a mu3 carbonyl. So this will make difference when you will study the IR spectra of this one, because this bridging carbonyl will have the different carbonyl frequency and terminal carbonyls will have the different carbonyl frequency. So these are the terminal carbonyls. This is the bridging one. So one bridge is there, and then you can put 1 carbonyl here also. So if you put 1 carbonyl here, it will connect this and this particular rhodium and this particular rhodium. Right. Similarly, you will put 1 carbonyl here and another carbonyl here. So you will connect these 3. Okay. And then you will connect these 3. So this would be the structure, and this gets more complicated if you have the more number of the electrons. However, see, this is important. Okay, you should know the structure, this one. See, sometimes people also do, they actually see, when you do the substitution reaction, they determine the electron contribution by the given fragment, but I don't think it is very, very important to you. If you want to know, then you can learn through your books. Okay, so this actually, in short, this is actually a Closio structure with octahedral geometry. Okay. Now my next problem, say you have given this particular example where you have this nickel complex. Okay, so for this actually I will do rather quickly in that manner. Say I'm calculating the PEP, polyhedral electron pair. So I'm writing the formula for again and again for my own practice itself. It is 12N divided by 2. Okay, so nickel, see, nickel actually contributes 10 electron. Okay, so 10, how many nickels? 5 nickels are there. Okay, plus 1 carbonyl contributes 2 and 12 carbonyls are there. This is the one factor, minus 1, 12 into 5, okay, just like that, n number of metals divided by 2. Okay, if you solve this one, 10 5s are 50, that is 74, that will give this 74 minus 60 divided by 2. Again it will give you the 14 by 2, it will give you not 14 actually, 10 5s are 50. And okay, see guys, this mistake I have made here. 2 negative is also there, that means it is having the 2 extra electron. Okay, negative means you will add electron here, you will add plus 2 here. Okay, if you have positive here, then you will have minus 2 electron, minus, you will subtract minus here. For minus you will add electrons, for plus you will subtract electron, because minus 2 is there, you will add 2 electrons. So when you will have the 2, then it would be the 76. Okay, so 76 minus 60, it is 16 actually, and 16 by 2 it will give you the 8. Okay, and metals, 5 metals are there. So if you see here, say you are getting n plus 3. How n plus 3? 5 metals you are already having, and here you are having 8. If you add 3 to the 5, it will give you the 8. So it is following actually the n plus 3. And you know, the for n plus 3 it is arachno structure. So I can go a little back. So this is n plus 3, this is arachno. So this complex is actually your arachno structure. And now you have to calculate, see, if you want, then you can calculate the vertex also, or vertices. How? PEP minus 1. So PEP 8 minus 1 equals to 7. 7 vertices are there. Okay, right? So for this you have to actually know total electrons were 76 and your metals 5. So this combination 76 and 5, where would go? Okay, you are not having any combination which is giving you the 76 here. Okay guys, it is not giving any number which is the 76 here. So you can straightforward write the arachno for this one. There is no need to decide the structures. Okay, and then you are having this particular complex rhodium, we are having the 7 metal here. So if you calculate the PEP, polyhedral electron pairs, so rhodium again it is cobalt partner, cobalt's group, contribute 9 electron. Okay, so that means 9 into 7 plus 16 into 2, because one carbonyl will give you 2, 16 will give you 32. Okay, 3 negative is there, so you have to add 3 electron from here. Minus 12 into 7, because 7 metals are present, n is the number of metals. Okay, divided by 2. So if you solve that particular fraction, 9 7 is 63, 63 and 3 66, 66 and 32, that will give you the 98 minus 12 7 is 84 divided by 2, that will give you the 14 by 2 equals to 7. Okay, so it is giving you the 7. Okay, so 7 means here you can see it is n plus 0. N plus 0 equals to 7, because n is the number of metals which are already 7 here, it is n plus 0. So what kind of a structure is this one? This is hypercloso, I think. Okay, let me check what is this. So n plus 0 is hypercloso. Okay, so you can write that complex as hypercloso. Structure is the hypercloso. Okay, now you can see the total electrons are 98, metals are 7. So this is TEC, metals are 7. So you can check the combination of 98 and 7. Let me check whether I have written or not. Yeah, I have written. See, this is 98 and 7 electrons. So it is the octahedral structure, which capped octahedral structure, capped octahedral. So this is hypercloso with capped octahedral. This is very important. Okay, so what is the meaning of the capped octahedral? It is very simple, guys. You can see here, you draw the octahedron first. Okay, and See, one metal here, one metal here. See, one rhodium here, another rhodium here, another rhodium here, another rhodium here. Okay, and you can connect them all. So this is the octahedron. Okay, now for your revision, I'm going back. Capping rule. Where was the capping rule actually? Let me check. Capping rule. When number of metals greater than or equal to PEP, then your cap would be appear in the structure. I have written here, when number of metals is greater than or equal to the polyhedral electron pairs, then one or more metals are present as cap on the basic polyhedron. So let me check whether n number of metals is greater than or equal to polyhedral electron pair or not. See this 7, that is n, and polyhedral electron pair is also 7, so it is actually equal, this n is equal to 7, so there may be the cap present on it. Okay, so how you can put the cap here? So it's very easy, guys. So say you are writing the one rhodium here, say this was the rhodium, this was rhodium, this was rhodium, and this was also rhodium, this was also rhodium, so this was the rhodium. So this will have the extra cap over there. So how you can put the cap? Connect one rhodium with this one, and another with this one, and another with this one, because in the complex itself each actually rhodium is connected with the 3-1, right? So this is how you can connect. So this one cap is present here. When you have this kind of the capping, this is known as the capping rule. Okay, so this structure is hypercloso but capped octahedral in the geometry. This is something very important. Okay, guys. Similarly, you can see, guys, this particular last problem. So I'm giving you the hint for this one. This structure is actually your tetra-capped octahedral. This complex is tetra-capped octahedral. What you can do, you can solve this particular problem. All the concept actually which you will use in solving this particular problem, I have already given to you. Okay, and the only thing you have to decide in that here actually, right? So in that case, you can see I haven't give you the tetra-capped octahedral kind of the geometry. Okay, so for this actually you can actually refer your B.D. Gupta book. In that particular book it is given, but I'm giving you the hint actually. It would give you actually this tetra-capped octahedral. Okay, and see, if you calculate the nature of this, whether it is arachno, closo, or your say nido, then you can do for this for that also. Okay, so for this you will calculate that polyhedral electron pairs. Okay, and then you will decide what the number is coming, and I'm telling you it would be I suppose n plus 3. It would be arachno kind of. So this may be the arachno. Okay, so what you do, you try this problem by your own, to try to solve this problem by your own, and if you solve that problem, it's very good. If you are not able to solve that particular problem, you can actually comment in the comment section as quickly as possible, and I'll solve that problem in my last lecture. Okay, so you try this one, or whatever what I'll do, I'll solve that particular problem in my in my coming lecture. So this is all about the Wade-Mingo rule, which you will use here. But still, see, I have solved 3 or 4 problems for you. Okay, but if you can solve more problems based on this rule, and then you will find, okay, there is some difficulty and some technical glitch in this Wade-Mingo rules. And what are those limitations? Now I'm going to tell you those limitations very quickly. Okay, guys, you see limitations. First limitation: capping rule does not predict the formation of the particular isomer. Okay, so say particular isomer, what is the meaning of that particular isomer? Say for example, you have bicapped octahedral. Okay, so bicapped octahedral can have the many geometries, right? Say this is my octahedral geometry. Okay, now you have to put the two caps over there. So one cap you can put here just like that, and second cap you can put just like that. So one cap on this face, one cap is on this face, and then you may put just like that, say in that manner. Okay, so this is my octahedron. Now you have to put the caps over there. So one cap you can put just like that, and second cap you can put just like that. So this is second isomer. Okay guys, and in the third isomer what you can do, say this is your octahedral geometry. Okay, and when you have this geometry, then again you can you can put the cap. Say one cap you are putting in that manner, and second cap you are putting in that manner. So bicapped octahedral structure having three isomers. So what kind of the isomer would be there, it cannot be decided by the capping rule. So this is the limitation actually. Okay, and second, you see here, if you see these three complexes, they all have the 86 electrons. They have the polyhedral electron pairs 7. Okay, that means all are see 86 system 7, but this is correctly predicted by the predicted, see 86 and 7. See, I can go back for this one. So 86 and 7 is not given here, but this would be there in some text actually. Okay, polyhedral not see, this is how, right? 86 and, sorry, metals, not this, 86 and metal 6. We can go this combination 86 and 6. 86 and 6 corrected what? It is predicted what? Octahedral. 86 and 6 will give the octahedral. So according to this one, according to this, all three should be your octahedral, but this one is only the octahedral one, while this one is the capped square pyramidal. Okay, this is capped square pyramidal. So monocapped square pyramidal. How you can draw the monocapped square pyramidal? Say you can draw in that manner. Put one see, one metal here, one metal here, four corner having four metal. This is the fifth one, so you can connect this, all of them. So this is where actually structure square pyramidal kind, and it is monocapped. Monocapped means you will have the cap over here. So this is the structure for this complex, and this is what? H-capped trigonal bipyramidal. Trigonal bipyramidal is easy, right? You can draw in that manner. This triangle, right? Metals are there. Okay, and if you connect them all just like that, so at the particular edge you are having this cap. So this structure, and regular octahedron, you know, this is regular octahedron. They all are different, but having the same number of total electron pair and the metal. So these are the some problems with the capping rules as well as the Mingo rules. Okay, Wade-Mingo rules. Not exactly the problems of the Wade-Mingo rule, but these are the problems of your capping rule. ठीक है, तो हिंदी वाले भी इस चीज को समझ सकते हैं. प्रॉब्लम्स तो मैंने यहाँ आपको आपके सारी सॉल्व करके दिखाई दी हैं. और कमियां क्या है देखिए इस कैपिंग रूल की. कैपिंग रूल क्या कहता है कि जैसे मान लीजिए किसी प्रोडक्ट, किसी रिएक्शन में आपका प्रोडक्ट बनना है बाइकैप्ड ऑक्टाहेड्रल. तो बाइकैप्ड देखिए ऑक्टाहेड्रल में दो कैप यहाँ लग गई, दो ऐसे लग गई ट्रांस में, दो बिल्कुल अगल बगल लग गई. तो इनमें से कौन सा आइसोमर बनेगा ये नहीं बता पाएगा कैपिंग रूल. ऐसे ही जैसे ये तीन कॉम्प्लेक्स आपको दिए हैं, इसकी टोटल इलेक्ट्रॉन काउंट 86 है और है मेटल इसमें 6 है. तो 86 और 6 का कॉम्बिनेशन ऑक्टाहेड्रल बनता है. तो ये वाला तो सही प्रेडिक्ट किया ऑक्टाहेड्रल है, लेकिन ये वाला फिर मोनोकैप्ड स्क्वायर पिरामिडल होता है, ये वाला एज कैप्ड ट्राइगोनल बाइपिरामिडल होता है. तो ये प्रॉब्लम्स हैं कैपिंग रूल के साथ. ठीक है, तो हालांकि इसमें देखिए अभी जो आपके हायर न्यूक्लियर कार्बोनिल क्लस्टर्स हैं उनमें 10 मेटल 12 मेटल भी होती हैं, लेकिन अभी तक जो CSIR नेट में एग्जामिनेशन गेट वगैरह में पूछा गया है, इवन अगर आप सिविल सर्विसेज की भी पेपर देखेंगे तो वहां पे भी कोई बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन इस पार्ट से पूछे नहीं गए हैं. So what actually I have done in this particular lecture, this is more than sufficient for your NET examination and your gate examination. Okay, see, more than sufficient meaning is not that you will not practice all at all. Okay, so you have to actually you have to do the practice. प्रॉब्लम ढूंढिए, इनकी लगातार प्रैक्टिस करिए. ओके गाइस, सो यू सी this lecture is already actually gone through 1 hour actually. Okay, this is quite lengthy one. So in the next class I'll discuss the same weight rules for your carboranes, okay, and your zintal ions. Okay, so these are again very important carboranes and your zintal ions. And so once I have finished with these Mingo rules and your say carbonanes and your zintal ions, then I'll come to the next concept, the IR spectra of your carbonyl clusters. Okay guys, so that's it for today. So if you're liking the explanation, grasping the things, again I am repeating, please like the video, right? And do share with your friends also. Subscribe Tetrahedron Chemistry classes and hit the bell icon for the latest notification, guys. Okay, thank you very much.